Have you ever noticed how some truths in life are like hidden doors, invisible to those rushing through the hallway of existence? Monks speak of wisdom not given freely, waiting silently, patient as stones in a mountain stream for those truly ready to receive it. This is not a tale of esoteric secrets or mystical powers, but a lesson about timing, awareness, and the readiness of the human heart. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast forest. Trees sway with whispers older than you can comprehend. Some travelers rush in and get lost, chasing shadows. Others wait at the threshold, listening, feeling the forest's rhythm before stepping forward. Monks say wisdom is like that forest. It reveals itself only when you are still, attentive, and willing to see what lies beneath the obvious. How often do we rush through life, thinking knowledge is a commodity, while real understanding waits silently like a patient river under winter's ice? When questions weigh heavier than answers, where silence speaks louder than noise, that is when the door opens. A monk might lean forward, eyes calm, voice quiet, offering a teaching that shakes your understanding, resonating with the part of you always listening. The first lesson is patience. Not the shallow patience of waiting for things to happen, but the deep patience of a mind that has stopped chasing. Like a potter who waits for the clay to become ready, the monk teaches that insight cannot be forced. You must prepare yourself. Not by reading, not by memorizing, but by living attentively, noticing the subtleties that others ignore, the impermanence of a sunset. The rhythm of your breath, the silent gaps between one thought and the next. The second lesson is observation. There's a world in every glance, in every gesture, in the soft shadow that falls across a temple floor. The monk asks you to watch, not to judge, not to label, but to notice. You will find that when you look deeply enough, the world speaks in patterns, revealing truths about yourself and the illusions you carry. Observation transforms the mundane into the sacred. The sound of rain against the roof becomes a meditation. The flicker of candlelight becomes a mirror of your own mind. And the quiet in the space between words becomes a place where revelation can occur. The third lesson is surrender. This is often the hardest for those who come seeking answers. We come with lists of questions, with strategies and expectations, and we resist the unknown. Yet the monk will sometimes offer a paradox. The moment you stop trying to control, to force understanding, that is when comprehension finds you. Like a river carving a canyon over centuries, wisdom shapes the mind and heart gently, persistently, until one day you notice that the landscape of your inner world has shifted. The fourth lesson is acceptance of discomfort. Life is full of uncertainty, of fear, of loss, and of longing. Monks do not promise to remove these, but they teach that the willingness to sit with discomfort, to observe it, transforms suffering into insight. It is as if every thorn you encounter carries a message, every shadow a hidden gift. By resisting, we block the flow. By accepting, we allow the lesson to enter. Then comes reflection. Monks teach not with lectures, but through questions that echo in the stillness of your mind long after the conversation ends. They ask, what is it you are clinging to? What illusions have you been carrying as truths? What part of yourself have you been hiding? And suddenly you realize that the wisdom was never outside, never in some sacred text or ritual, but waiting inside you all along. Waiting for your attention, your patience, your courage. But how do you know when you are ready? The monk will tell you that readiness is felt as a quiet hunger, a subtle unrest, an aching curiosity. It is the sensation of standing on the shore of your own understanding, watching the horizon, knowing there is something beyond the waves. Something that calls you to step forward even if you cannot see it yet. Readiness is not about being perfect, about having achieved some status of enlightenment, but about being awake enough to receive what life offers. Open enough to let it change you, humble enough to acknowledge that you do not know, and fearless enough to face the void of your own ignorance. And then there is the twist that often surprises those seeking wisdom. The knowledge that is given is not a set of instructions or a formula for happiness. It is a mirror. It reflects your own patterns, your own illusions, your own fears and desires. You are shown not the world as it should be, but the world as it is, and in seeing it clearly, you find the freedom to act, the clarity to choose, and the courage to become the person capable of understanding the depths of your own life. Imagine now a candle in a dark room. For a long time, you have been stumbling in darkness, trying to find the walls, the doors, the furniture, Then a monk hands you a match. It is a small flame, fragile, easily extinguished, but suddenly the shadows retreat. You see corners, textures, details you could not have imagined. But notice this, the flame does not teach you everything. You must explore, you must walk through the illuminated paths, you must stumble and fall and rise again. The flame merely invites you to see. And this is the essence of what monks offer. Not answers, but invitations. Invitations to look deeper, to listen closer, to be present, in ways that most of us avoid because it is uncomfortable, inconvenient, or frightening. And here is another paradox. The more you try to grasp wisdom as a thing, the more it slips away. But the more you allow yourself to be ready, to prepare, to observe, to surrender, to accept, and to reflect, the more wisdom finds a way to enter naturally. Like water seeping through the cracks of a stone, persistent, gentle, transformative. Many people ask, can this wisdom be applied to life directly? The answer is yes, but not like a recipe. It is applied through presence. By noticing, by observing, by questioning, by being willing to sit with discomfort, we begin to change our relationship with the world. Stress becomes insight, mistakes become lessons, loss becomes a teacher, and the ordinary moments, the ones we often overlook, become gateways to understanding. And when you start living with this awareness, you notice how differently the world responds to you. Opportunities appear, not because life has changed, but because your perception has. Challenges arrive not as obstacles, but as invitations to deepen your understanding. Happiness, success, peace, they are not given. They are revealed. When you stop seeking them and start being present, fully, attentively, consciously. You might wonder, what about those who are not ready? The monks say they will find their path in their own time. There is no judgment, no condemnation, only recognition that every heart must arrive at its own threshold, and only when it does can the doors of wisdom swing open. This is the ultimate lesson, that wisdom cannot be rushed, cannot be begged, cannot be coerced. It is not a trophy to be won, but a companion to be invited, nurtured, and respected. And the invitation is always present. Life itself whispers it through circumstances, through relationships, through dreams and fears. The question is, are you listening? Are you willing to stand still long enough to hear the subtle nudges of insight that come not in grandiose visions, but in quiet, everyday moments, the rustle of leaves, the pause of a conversation, the emptiness of a room, the rhythm of your own breath? Every encounter, every challenge, every moment of discomfort is a potential door if you are ready to approach it with awareness, humility, and curiosity. And perhaps the most radical aspect of this teaching is that it asks you to accept responsibility. The wisdom given to you is not for showing off, not for accumulating accolades, but for transformation. It is a light to guide your steps, a mirror to reveal your blind spots, a challenge to grow into the person capable of receiving it fully. And as you begin to embody this awareness, you realize the beauty of it, that life itself becomes a teacher, that even without a monk, the world whispers the same truths, that patience, observation, surrender, acceptance, and reflection are not abstract ideals, but lived practices, woven into every choice, every breath, every step. The monk's wisdom is ultimately about connection. Connection to the present moment, connection to reality as it is, connection to the self as it truly is, stripped of illusions and pretenses. It is about seeing clearly, acting responsibly, and feeling deeply. It is about recognizing that the deepest truths are often the simplest, and yet the hardest to see because they require us to stop chasing, to stop distracting, to stop running from ourselves. And here in this quiet realization there is freedom. Freedom from the frantic need to know everything, to control everything, to be everything. Freedom to be human, fully, consciously, awake, present, and willing to receive the subtle, transformative lessons that life, through the guidance of those who have walked the path before us, offers quietly, patiently, endlessly. So ask yourself, are you ready? Are you willing to sit in the stillness long enough to notice the whisper of wisdom? Are you willing to let life, the monks, and your own heart guide you, rather than your ego, your fear, or your impatience? Because the moment you say yes, the threshold opens. The doors that were invisible become visible. The lessons that were hidden become clear. And you step into a forest of understanding where every leaf, every stone, every breath carries meaning, and where the simple act of observing, reflecting, and being present transforms not only your perception but your very existence. And if you feel that stirring inside you right now, that quiet pull, that deep curiosity, let it guide you. Let it be the flame that illuminates your path. And as you walk, remember that this journey is not about speed, about trophies, about recognition. It is about presence, about awareness, about readiness to receive the gifts that life and the wisdom of those who have devoted their lives to seeing clearly offers to those who are prepared. And now, I want to leave you with a challenge for the next day or the next week. Take a moment each morning to be still. Observe. Reflect. Accept. Do not seek answers. Do not chase knowledge. Simply notice. Simply be. Watch how your perception shifts, how subtle truths emerge, how the world begins to reveal itself in ways you never imagined. And when you feel ready, when the quiet hunger inside you grows impossible to ignore, seek out the teachings, the guidance, the presence of those who can help illuminate the path. Because true wisdom is patient and it waits for you. And when you are ready, it will find you and the door will open, and your journey into understanding, into clarity, into presence will begin in earnest. If this message resonated with you, if you feel that quiet stir of readiness, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to Echoes of Greatness for more journeys into wisdom, philosophy, and the art of living consciously. Your journey is yours, but it is never solitary. Let us walk this path together.